Hey, everybody, and welcome to Mission Northwest Podcast. We are here to resource and develop churches that connect people to Jesus. I'm your host, Wes Henry. I'm here with our executive director, Mr. Corey Lawhery, and our special guest today is Adam Gustafson. Hey, guys, what's going on?
It's good to be back, Wes. Good to see you, Adam.
Good to be
Good
seen.
to be here. Good. Well, this episode today is about introducing Adam to the wider Mission Northwest family. We're 130 or so churches in Montana, Idaho, Washington, and beyond, and a few other states as well. And we exist to resource and develop churches that connect people to Jesus, as Wes already said. And we wanted some practical hands-on resources. And Adam Gustafson is a guy that I've known for a while, and he's got a lot of skills. And I thought, boy, this guy would be a great human resource for some of our churches and ministries. So, Adam, why don't you tell our folks a bit about yourself, maybe God's call upon your life, and then we're going to get into what God's calling you to do through this new opportunity.
All right. Well, you already said my name. I've always been involved in ministry. I came to Christ at my local church when I was about 12, and God has continually surprised me with what my life would look like and what my walk would look like. I had some kind of wandering years in my early 20s, but my connection to the local community of believers is what God really used to reel me back in. And I think, I don't know, maybe about somewhere between 2015 and 2020, I really, life was chaotic. I had a lot of things going on in life that, weren't necessarily my fault, but they weren't good and they were stressful. And I was just digging deeper and staying involved in church, just trying to be a resource the best I could so the community could grow. Doing some work with some other communities and ministries. And we went through church transition. This is at Engage Church, formerly Park Heights Baptist. And we called a new pastor, and I was on the leadership team, and he came on board, and we were talking, and he just said to me one day, he goes, "What are you passionate about doing in ministry?" And I just kind of unloaded on him. I was like, "These are the things I want to do. These are the things that excite me." And he goes, "What are you doing on a board? You're not a board person. You are a ministry doer. Like, it sounds like you may have a call to ministry." And we sat down and we talked through it. And he just said, "Just think about where you think God's leading you." And so this just kind of developed into, like, I want to be doing this. This is, it fills me up, but this is how I serve well. I'm able to put a lot of different skills to work. And I kind of started on a trajectory of being more involved in ministry. I think 2023, I quit my job as an aerospace machinist at 17 and a half years in. And there's a lot of unsure things in my life, transitions in my family life. And I just quit my job, and I wasn't sure about income. I went to work part-time as associate pastor at Engage, and slowly worked my way towards starting my education up again, which now I'm enrolled as a seminary student at Kairos, which is very fun and exciting. I really enjoy the things I'm learning and the ways I'm growing. And, I've just been filling the needs that I see with the different skills I have available, whether it's teaching or sometimes preaching, or in other ways. I just finished an interimship at Ross Point Camp and Conference Center as the executive director, and was able to bring some gifts and skills that God gave me there. And then, when that came to an end, it was, "Hey, there's this opportunity at Mission Northwest." And Corey said, "I think your skill set fits," which is a pretty wide and varied skill set that God has given me. And so here I am. I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
seeing what I can do to help the ministry move forward.
Yeah, Adam, you mentioned your wide and varied skill set, and that I really got to see that on display this last year as you served as the interim executive director for Ross Point Camp, where our world headquarters is for Mission Northwest. So we got to see you in action. So, Adam, folks, if you're out there listening or watching, Adam can do things from setting up QuickBooks for your church, teaching you how to run a budget. He can build a website. He can do a social media campaign for you. But more than the computer and numbers stuff, Adam can do a lot of hands-on stuff. I know you have experience with audiovisual stuff, so sound systems, video, and more. So, Adam, we've been talking a lot about how we think you could bless churches in hands-on, practical ways. How are you thinking about this role, and where are some of the areas you're excited to serve churches?
Well, I guess that interesting skill set comes, it was developed on filling needs, whether um, the opportunities God provided for me to provide for my family. So, like my tent making in the unsure times of ministry was doing construction, consulting for ministries on audio and video systems, and just kind of as a passion on the side, equipping ministries with simple tools. A lot of my tools that I have were developed out of the need that, hey, this ministry needs help, even if it was my home church and we don't have a resource for this and we're not doing it well or we're not doing it right. So I found I'm really good at finding what I need through people and other resources to be able to do things well. And sometimes they're not the fun things. Like most people's mission, in the church isn't, I want to join the church so we can have perfectly kept books and finances. But that's an important part of what we do to be accountable and to be above reproach. So, that was kind of what started me down the financial road. And, although finance may not be my primary calling, I don't hate it. And I have a pretty good eye and understanding of how that works in the nonprofit and church world. And I think I have a heart for it because I see the importance of it. So things like finance that I've developed for filling those needs, and audio visual systems, like we want to do it well, but we don't want it to be a distraction from our purpose. I've seen so many churches band-aid things together and it becomes a distraction from why they're gathered together. So learning how to do things well, but also realizing that, like, do it within your means and do it within appropriate means. You don't have to go spend an insane amount of money to do something well. And if there's something you really want to do and it's expensive to do well, maybe that's not what you should be doing. Like, take the time to have enough knowledge to discern and spend time in prayer about, hey, like, God, what's the best way for us to get this done so it moves the ministry forward?
I like that. So you may be out there at a church and you may say, we're good at a lot of things, but we need to get somebody trained up on our finances. Adam would be a great resource to contact for that. We want to do a build project and have an estimate. Adam could help you potentially do that depending on the size. He's not an architect, but he's done a lot of construction work. So if there is, we've got a list that we're going to publish with this podcast of things that Adam is ready to do. If there's something in that list that you need in your church and you don't have it, just feel free to contact us, and we're going to talk about how we can make that work. So we're offering this in a subsidized way where Mission Northwest is going to pick up most of Adam's hourly cost. And the church, depending on your budget, will be paying just a portion of that. Or if your budget is if you're really tight or you have a really small budget, there may be ways for us to cover the whole bill for certain projects. So we're serious about this and we're backing this up. And we just want to have churches that have good resources for their ministry. Like Adam said, an audiovisual system that works for you, that isn't too expensive, that you know how to operate is a good example. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
can attest. I can attest too, real quick, Adam. So when I first met Adam about 4 or 5 years ago, it was at our one of our leadership tune-ups, and all of a sudden, there's all of this new technology in the room, and I was like, I need to figure out who's in charge of this, because this was a good setup, and it blended simple techniques with big technology, and you know to meet Adam and then watch him go, yeah, we put this in here, we put in the A10 mini, and we've got these cameras, and we're using this platform, and how he blended it all together. I mean, it was, it's tech speak for a lot of people, but for Adam, it just seemed like second nature to him. And when I did ask about something, he explained it very simply to where, I grabbed that idea and I came and I implemented it here at the church, because it was actually that simple. And like he said before, maybe the most expensive thing isn't the thing you really need. You should definitely start where you are. And, Adam has the mind and the ability to assess where you are and then say, hey, if you just take this step instead of trying to jump, too many steps into the professional world of like video casting or, redoing an entire wing of your church or, whatever it is, Adam has that type of brain where he can actually say, hey, let's just take this one next right step at a time, and really help the churches out. And so, all the last handful of leadership tune-ups were actually that way. They were run very much by the mind of Adam. So it was really cool.
I think the
Yeah.
other thing that really goes along with that's important to point out is that it's not just understanding the technology and knowing what technology is a good fit because of the price or its capabilities, but you really have to understand your people resources, and have that conversation when you're looking at making those changes, because it's not just about budgetary numbers where we end up creating a distraction rather than a tool for the purposes of worship or ministry, is because we maybe want to do something and we build it in a way that we don't have the people resources to actually run it. And it becomes counterproductive. So having those conversations, and just
If you
keeping
have a
an eye on the focus.
soundboard that you can't run, is that what you
Yeah.
mean, Adam? Like you have a
Yeah.
soundboard, you don't know how to run it, or it's complicated.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah, I was just thinking. We spent at the church I was at in Palouse. We spent a fair amount of money and got flat screen TVs. And Adam knows about this. One of the TVs, the TV on the right, if you're facing the stage, it would just blink out all the time. And we thought we had it wired correctly, used the right stuff. And Adam came down and figured it out really quickly, and a relatively low cost solution, so that it wasn't a distraction. I mean, if you're looking that way, one of the two main screens would just blink out, and so Adam was able to fix that for us. And we have fairly tech savvy people, but we couldn't troubleshoot that. So you can call Adam for troubleshooting on things like that too. He may have to visit. He maybe can do it over the phone or over Zoom. So yeah.
Hey, Adam, what are some of the church management systems and or website pieces that you've worked with before? Let some of our listeners and churches know kind of what's your forte, not because you're getting any kickback, but like this is easy to manage, and this is the stuff that I use or suggest.
Oh man,
what do you think?
it's kind of a wide variety. I've had such a changing of kind of setting vocationally that like some things I used a lot, I didn't really use in the next setting. But I've worked with different tools from Faith Life. I've used Breeze before, Planning Center, those kinds of things. But there's a lot of tools that people don't realize that are free or possibly free. If you're running a smaller, if you're in a smaller community and you just like, we need basic tools and email and a real simple website hosting, nonprofits for Google is great. I've signed up a bunch of different churches and ministries for that. It gets their email and their basic document needs done. In this age where everything is visual and we're constantly creating media, the number of places that don't realize that they can get Canva Professional for free just by filling out an application. And I'm constantly exploring new things that we might get. As we roll into this era where AI is doing a lot, there's a cautionary ethics tale there about using AI. When is it appropriate and when is it not? But once you get through that, there's a lot of automation that can be done to kind of help streamline tasks. And by no means am I the subject matter expert on that. Like, it's very, very new, but I'm finding and learning about new tools from even Corey. Like, he had his mentor say, "Hey, this is a great tool. I use it." And Corey said, "Hey, can you fill out the nonprofit application for it?" And I realized, hey, this has potentially wider applications for ministries that have a lot of paperwork moving around in the background just to make sure do our checks and balances, set up workflows. So there are definitely some products that I'm very familiar with, but it's constantly growing. And especially when a church says, we don't have any tools for anything and we don't have any budget. And I was like, there's tools for you too. You just have to know how to sign up for them.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's good. Well, we've had some examples already of churches contacting us, Adam. Are you comfortable giving a couple of examples of churches and ministries that are reaching out for a church resource manager?
Yeah, I can talk about these a little bit. So my very first one, which is still open, and it was a little bumpier than I had anticipated, but it's going well, is Florence Carlton church they're doing a dinner church called A Taste of Faith, and it's kind of a restart of their dinner church. And their previous Facebook page, the dinner church was called something else, but it wasn't well moderated, and it was just exploding with comments and content that they didn't want. And so we just kind of started over and set up some targeted advertisements to make sure their immediate community, they're fairly rural, knew that this event was going on every week and understood what the purpose was. So I did a little bit of work on the media that they had put together. And kind of the bumpy side of it was changes in Facebook that had happened that I wasn't quite up to date on. But that's kind of the beauty of it. I have that discretion to say, hey, like, this should have taken me 15 minutes and it took me 45. But, on the other end, they're just seeing that it took me 15 minutes to get this task accomplished. Like, if I'm a little behind on something, then that doesn't have to reflect on their investment into ministry. And I'm working to getting started on doing some work on the Big Sky area webpage and setting up some registrations for their gathering. There's going to be a bit of redesign on that. Their page is hosted by Square, which is one that I've done several pages on. I've used a lot of different web tools. One of the other ones that we haven't really finished an agreement yet, I'm working on it, that's kind of a new and exciting thing, just because it's something I connect to really well, is Kelso First Baptist Church is going to be doing a name change. And through a lot of transitions, they don't have access to a lot of their online platforms. But basically the steps for them is they have a name, they're working on a logo. So we're going to be setting them up with new office tools through Google, a new website, new social media accounts. And within that, we're getting them off of these legacy platforms that they're on, that they're paying a lot of money to host a website. And it's just, hey, we can do this well for what your needs are without paying anything at all, and still have it professional, still have it hosted at your own domain. So, a clean look to go with their new name, new tools to, allow them to get things done, but also it's going to end up saving them money on their monthly bills pretty tremendously.
And
That's great.
that's what we're looking to do for folks. That was a great example of just we want to bring churches resources, help do it in an affordable, low cost way. Even if even if you were paying Adam his actual hourly wage, it'd still be below market. The market value of these services. And then the long term savings of getting churches involved with products that they can afford for the long term. So I just think I'm so excited to bring you on board, Adam. Are you
Thank you.
excited for this role or?
I'm
Yeah.
pretty stoked to be here. I'm kind of doing this, and then the other piece for Mission Northwest that I'm working on. But it's and there's also those things kind of for our accountability where dealing with finance and doing the church resource manager stuff kind of meld. So finding new
Yeah. Yeah.
processes and
Yeah, Adam's going to be our new bookkeeper. Our wonderful bookkeeper, Jane Gunneman's going to retire in March, and Adam's training right now to also be our bookkeeper. So there'll be some overlap there with Mission Northwest, and just along with that, the finance, helping churches with finances is something that Adam is good at. That's part of the services he offers, or getting your own 501c3 status is something we're going to encourage churches to do if you haven't done that already. And he's the kind of guy that gets into taxes and policies. So, that is not my deal, man, getting into the weeds on that. But I love people who that is your deal. I just love that. So I saw that in Adam and
uh,
thought this is kind of blessed churches. So, yeah. Thank you,
well,
Adam. Wes, you got any more
yeah.
questions or?
No, man, I'm really excited to see, knowing what Adam can do. I'm really excited to figure out, how all the churches in Mission Northwest are going to be able to utilize his skills. And the old saying, "Jack of all trades, but master of none." The end of that is better a jack of all than only a master of one. And so there's a lot of pastors out there who their focus is just doing one thing. And so you need some Adams in your life, and Mission Northwest is here
Mhm.
to actually provide that. A quick little shout out for a book that I just recently read. Is called Who, Not How, and Adam is the who. If you don't know how to do it, don't try and figure it out. Call Mission Northwest, call Adam and Corey. Let Adam be the who, man. He's definitely got the knowledge and the passion and the heart to be able to do it. So, I'm looking
Amen.
forward to it, man.
And your email, Adam, is pretty simple. I think you set it up, right? So what is it?
No, actually, you told Julie to set it up. So it's Adam at
Oh, Julie said it.
missionnw.org.
Okay, Adam at missionnw.org. And mine is always Corey, Corey, at missionnw.org. So, and Wes is Wes at missionnw.org, I think, right, Wes?
No, actually, mine is general. Mine is communications.
Oh, yours is communications.
That's
Oh,
right.
man.
I kept
I
it.
missed
I
it. I
kept it
missed
very
it.
general. So
All right. All right. Cool. Well,
cool.
you can
Well,
get a
it's
hold of
awesome.
us and yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Wes.
It's awesome to have everybody with us. Great to have you with us today, Adam. And again, we're looking forward to all of that stuff with Mission Northwest. If you guys are watching on YouTube, be sure that you smash that like button. That really helps us out. And if you are listening on any of the podcasting platforms that are out there, actually now we are on iHeartRadio and Amazon Music as well, starting this week. So anywhere you listen to podcasts, we should be live in your ears. Go ahead and like and subscribe to all of those things. We greatly appreciate it, and share it. Share it with anybody. We have more podcast episodes coming up over the next few weeks, including an interview of me and Corey, and then also all of our youth pastors are coming up, and we got a bunch of youth pastors in Mission Northwest that are excited about ministry. So that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks as well. And so thank you guys for being with us. We greatly appreciate it. Again, smash that like button, leave some comments, make sure that everybody knows where you're getting all of this content here at Mission Northwest Podcast. So thanks again, guys, for being with us today. Corey, I'll see you in the next one.